Good morning, folks. Welcome back to my channel. Today, doing a backpacking overnight trip in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park here at the Cosby Campground, Tennessee, and starting on the Snake Den Ridge Trail. Go past the barricade here, and we're heading up to the Appalachian Trail near Mount Guyot, where I'm going to spend the night at the Tricorner Knob Shelter. I reserved a permit by calling the park office a couple weeks ago. There's your information. And bear habitat. So have to be careful about how you keep camp, because they could be drawn in, and the Park Service doesn't want problem bears, because then they have to put them down, and sadly it happens more often than you'd think. So please practice responsibility when camping in bear country, so that we can preserve these beautiful natural resources for others to enjoy. But yeah, this is the Snake Den Ridge Trail. It's more of a forest road, and it's uphill immediately. It's a gradual incline though. So when I get up to Mount Guyot, there's supposed to be a side trail that takes you to the summit. I'd like to explore that, even though I've heard it's not much of a view at the top. Nevertheless, it's a 6,000 foot summit. I can't remember the elevation. I believe it's the second tallest mountain in the park after Klingman's Dome. It's over 6,600, if I'm not mistaken, or just under it. So once I get up there, check that out, and I'm going to come down, and if I have time, I'll do some further exploration. Maybe get on the Balsam Nature Trail and check out Mount Yonagusca, if I'm saying that right, and then head back over to the Tricorner Knob Shelter. Brought my hammock for this trip, so I read on the reviews online that tent camping is not so good in front of the shelter at this site. Not too many flat spots. So I think I might try my hammock out. And if I don't sleep in the shelter, that is. Because I've read also, since they closed the Cosby shelter, that this shelter's gotten pretty filled up. And a friend tried to book this trip with me, and he couldn't get in because it was booked. So they closed the Cosby shelter down for aggressive bear activity. So this is the only shelter that's open in that area. So anyway, we're gonna see what it's like. So I've never camped in the Smokies in the summertime before when the bears are active. So stay with me. It's gonna be a good trip. So this is what I've read, that many of the trails in the Smokies are not blazed, but you have signs like this at intersections. So I wanted you to see this, all these large pine trees. These are like old growth trees. Quite remarkable. Beautiful, dense forest. But I've noticed that on day hikes in the Smokies, which I've done many of. I've only camped in the Smokies once, back in 2019, with two friends at the Spencefield Shelter on the Appalachian Trail. So this will be my second camping trip. And so what I'm doing here is I am scoping it out in preparation for a 4-day backpacking trip. I got my permits for next week, starting Sunday. starting from the north and going to the south on the AT through the whole Smokies. It's about 73 miles. And checking it out, seeing how crowded the shelters are, seeing what the wildlife situation is like, because I've read that the bears are very active and they frequent the shelters. And I don't like sleeping in a shelter that's at capacity. I've done it once before on the AT when I did my 7-day section hike last year in March. I feel I sleep better when I have a little bit more privacy and room, unless of course you're with friends or whatever, but we only ever have a few guys out at a time. So yeah, thought I'd bring my hammock and see what it's like. If this trip goes well, don't have any negative issues, then I will be certainly undertaking that 4-day trip. If for some reason I don't find conditions favorable and I don't do that 4-day trip next week, I may just do part of it or do something else. I have some alternatives. Joyce Kilmer is another one that I'm going to do here. If not this time, I'll do it in the coming weeks. But that's one of my alternatives. And I will be doing something though, because I got 4 days off from work. But I'm leaning towards doing this trip, which I've put some energy and preparations in planning. So got that ball rolling and I really want to do it. But if I don't do it, then I will be coming back probably in the fall or winter and doing it then. But either way, it's going to get done. So stay with me. I'm just getting started here. So I'm sure that this is going to be a good day. So check this out. I'm not far into this hike, a little over half a mile. And right off the forest road, I've come upon a cemetery. These gravestones look a lot more well kept compared to the ones I saw at Lost Cove Settlement about a month or so ago. Well, I guess it was about 2 months ago already. Time flies. A lot of history in the Smokies. This place has got a lot of settlement history. The people would come out here in the remote wilderness. At the time it was remote wilderness. Now it's the most visited national park with over 11 million visitors. I guess it was 2019 or 2018. Most visited national park. World War II POW. It's a little bit faded, hard to read. These headstones look older. 1894. That's when he died. Joseph Campbell. Yeah, I can't even read that one. Anyway, this is pretty cool. So I'm gonna get on with it. So I'll be talking to you when something else crops up. All right, coming to my first bridge over the creek. This creek right here, I believe it's Big Creek. It's pretty well known in this particular area of the Smokies. Quite beautiful. Picturesque. And I don't know if you can, if the camera's picking it up, but It is buggy today. At least here it is. It wasn't that buggy in the last two hikes I did. But it's also very humid. I've been hearing thunder for a little while. So you know, it's a good chance of rain. I think it was 83% chance of thunder showers tonight at the shelter. So it's always the issue in the summertime. You're gonna have thunder showers down here in the southeast in the mountains, so you better be prepared. So I want you to see this terrain, this landscape around me. It is really lush and green, like a tropical jungle. As humid as one too. I believe the Smokies, for one thing, is a temperate rainforest. I don't remember how many inches of rainfall they receive per year, but the mountains in general, here in the southern Appalachians, they receive a lot of rainfall. Some areas get more, like Cashiers, Highlands, and Brevard. But yeah, it's very buggy out, kind of annoying, which is one of the things I like about winter. You don't have to worry about bugs or snakes or bears. But I've ranted about that before in previous videos. I do like the summer, but you have to deal with all that comes with it. Just like the winter, you have to deal with the possibility of snow, especially in the higher elevations. It smells really good out here too. These trees are massive. Some are smaller, they've been harvested obviously within the past 100 years or whatever, since the lumber era. Some of these trees have really a huge circumference and they are tall. So this trail is going up, gaining elevation rapidly, and I'm sweating profusely. Probably can't tell, but I don't usually sweat this much, and it is so humid, but I'm still enjoying it. It's a beautiful day. Haven't seen any wildlife, but doesn't mean I won't. Hopefully not up close and personal. It is just so dense. And you couldn't walk into that if you wanted to without getting cut up. First little view through the canopy. I still have a lot more climbing to go. All right, so I made it to the Appalachian Trail. Here's the junction. That's the way I'm going. I had some rain. I got rained on, so I got my rain jacket on and my backpack cover, rain cover. It's been thundering for quite a little bit of time now. Actually, it started when I was still in the Cosby Campground. But rain didn't last long, so that's good. I know I may not be so fortunate later tonight, but for now I'll take it. So I'm gonna keep going because I don't have much further to Mount Guyot. Rain is pouring again. You can see the views are all obscured by the foggy clouds. It's rolling in. Coming down pretty good now. Thunder stopped at least. Oh well, let's keep on marching. You see it's raining. Oh well, embrace it. It is what it is. There's a really good view right there. Back in a thick pine forest, which is common above 6,000 feet in western North Carolina, eastern Tennessee. I'm at about 6,200 feet here on the Appalachian Trail. And you can see it looks like Mount Mitchell State Park and the Crest Trail where I was last week. Very thick. Rare ecosystem. All right, hammock camping in the Smokies. They allow it now because of the COVID restrictions that you can camp in a tent or a hammock outside the shelter. And the shelter is right down the hill from me. I just ate dinner and filtered some water, put my backpack up on the cables, and this is my campsite. I only have one neighbor behind me who's in a tent, and yeah, it's a pretty nice spot because I'm kind of blocked by some fallen timbers. I got rained on pretty hard earlier. You see the beautiful rays of light coming through. It's a good spot, so hopefully I'll have no issues and get a good night's sleep. And I got just over 10 miles to get out of here in the morning. The way I came, down the Appalachian Trail, and then down Snake Ridge Trail, down to the Cosby Campground. So anyway, hope you folks have a good night. I'm thinking I'm going to. Until we meet again, out on the trails. Good morning, folks. It's day 2 in the Smokies. So I'm back on the Appalachian Trail. Started a little late, 7:30. Slept decent last night in my hammock. I got a little chilly because I didn't bring my air mattress. I don't have an underquilt system, so I use my air mattress to insulate me from the cold drafts underneath. So I couldn't sleep in the shelter anyway. Plus there were a lot of people. It wasn't at capacity, but I like a little space when I sleep. I've slept in crowded shelters before. But yeah, I'm back on the trail. Got 10 miles to get out of here. It was 3.7 near the shelter back to the Snake Den Ridge Trail. And then get back to the campground. And I'm out. I wanted you to see how beautiful this morning is. Walking this ridge. You see the mountains and the sunshine. Gorgeous day. It's a falcon. Very rare sight, as they're endangered. Such a beautiful, majestic creature. I feel privileged. It is awesome. Big black snake. He's fast. Hey, bud. Cool. Cool sight. This is the Cosby Campground. You pick a spot like that, you pay a fee for, and you'd have a tent. Basically car camping or RV camping.